All right, so this is day 13 of me trying to post every single day. So a couple days ago, I posted a video on what type of jobs I applied to on Upwork. So today I thought I would do the other side as well and also post a video on how to post a job on Upwork and pretty much what I look for in a freelancer. So, that's really the great thing about Upwork is, you can find jobs on Upwork and then using the same platform, you can find someone to do those jobs for you, right? And then that's pretty much your agency. So before I get started, a couple things I want to note. You do need a separate client account. So there's two accounts. There's a freelancer account and a client account. What I recommend you do is first start out by creating a freelancer account. Once you do that, you can like go to your settings and go to I think the contact info section, and then from there you can scroll down and create a client account. It's pretty simple. So once you create a client account, you can just easily switch between the two. To switch, I think you just click like your profile picture or whatever in the top right corner, um, and then you can see the part where you can just switch. If you're on the freelancer account, you can switch to your client account. If you're on the client account, you can just switch to your freelancer account by clicking that profile in the top right corner. So that's that. Another thing I would make sure, I guess just a quick note, is to make sure to not have both profiles open at the same time. I tried it before where I was like having my client account in one tab and then my freelancer account in another tab, but Upwork doesn't allow that. So you have to make sure your all your tabs are on that one account. So those are just a couple things I wanted to note first before I actually get started. Okay, so you get to your client account. You should see this page pretty much. You click this profile and you can switch to your freelancer account. But once you're on this client account, pretty much the dashboard will show here. You'll see, your job posting. You'll see like the different freelancers you've hired. And for me, what I do is go here and you go to post a job. Um, and yeah, I'm actually gonna do this like I'm, posting a regular job because I'm also currently looking for a new team member as well. So I'm gonna use this time to, not just create a video, but also, find someone else to hire. But yeah, the good thing about, um, this client account is one, unlike the freelancer account where you have to pay to apply to jobs, posting a job as a client is completely free. So you can post as many jobs as you want um, anytime. So that's the good thing. So I'm gonna kind of go through the thought process that I have when creating a job and hiring freelancers. So once you click post a job, you get sent to this page. I don't know what this is. Well, you'll have the option to choose between a long-term and a short-term project. For me, I like to choose long-term. Honestly, even if it is a short-term project, for example, you're just looking for somebody to do like a one-time job or whatever, I still like to put a long-term project because it brings in more freelancers. So freelancers will be more enticed to apply to a job that's a long-term project than a short-term project. So you click continue. Title, you want to make this simple and short. So I put like high quality social media manager. And then once you do that, it's not. I mean, obviously, if you're looking for someone that does something else, you would write your job post accordingly. But for me, I look for a social media manager. Sometimes I put like high quality video editor or high quality like graphic designer if I'm looking for something specific. But for this one, just high quality social media manager is enough. I'm gonna go into the details of it later on, so just something like this should be fine. And again, for job category, I mentioned this in the previous video, but I like to use social media marketing simply because, um, more people I think use are under the social media marketing category. So there's more people that apply if you put social media marketing. than I think if you put social media strategy. More people search for social media marketing as a freelancer than social media strategy. So, or social media content or social media manager or whatever. So marketing gets you more jobs. Gets you more freelancers that apply to your job. Once you click next, you get to the skill set. And what I like to do is you want to add a lot of skill sets. You can add up to 10, but make sure that it's relevant to your your job posting. So social media marketing, social media content management, content creation. You can also just type social media and kind of see some of the skills that pop up and find something that's kind of relevant to what you're looking for. Engagement is one as well. If you're doing like social media like ads, you can click advertising, ad campaign, marketing strategy, analytics, whatever. Not for me, so I'm not gonna put that. I also do content creation. Content creation, and then I like to put video editing as well. And for me, that's typically what I like to use. That should be enough. But yeah, everything else I just ignore. You could put these, but I don't really like to. I don't know if this is true, but if I were to put something like, just like Snapchat or Instagram in there as well, someone who doesn't offer Snapchat services might not apply to this job. For example, if I also put Facebook, if I just put random skill sets like Facebook advertising, even though I'm not looking for Facebook advertising, someone like me especially would look at the job and go, this person is looking for Facebook advertising. I don't offer Facebook advertising, so I'm not going to apply. And they might be a really good social media manager or a content creator, but I missed out on them because I put a skill set that isn't even relative or relevant to the job listing or the freelancer that I'm looking for, simply because I try to put everything so I can get as many people applying as I possibly can. It's more beneficial if you're just specific with exactly what you need. So that's that. Next, you go to work scope. For me, I like to put, again, more than 6 months. The more long term you make it, again, the more enticing it'll be for a freelancer to apply to your job. So if you put honestly, I just like to think of it from my perspective. What type of job would I apply to? Or what type of job would I be more enticed to apply to? I want to get as many high quality freelancers applying to my job as I possibly can. And to do that, I need as many freelancers applying as possible. I think a freelancer is more likely to apply to a job that's a long-term job than a short-term job. So I just put more than 6 months. Again, even if it's like a short-term project, you never know. Maybe they might be so good you want to work with them for future projects. And again, they're just more likely to apply if you put something long-term. For here, I like to put expert. Somewhere between intermediate and an expert. I don't really like to put entry because that's where you get, I guess, lower quality work. But intermediate or expert is what I like to do. And then I always make sure I put, yes, this could be full-time. So again, if you put, no, I'm not looking for a full-time worker. No, I'm not looking for someone who can work with me long time. If you do that, that's, again, something that I think can turn off the freelancer from applying to your job. Because again, from their perspective, it costs money pretty much to apply to every job. So they want to be picky and make sure they're applying to the right job. You don't want to give them a reason to not apply, especially if there's someone with potential, someone who can be, a good person to work with. And then I like to keep this medium. It's up to you. And then next, location. What I like to do is worldwide, unless you are looking for a US specific job. As I mentioned in my other video where I was applying to jobs, some jobs require talent from the US only. Unless there's a reason for that, I like to just put worldwide. There's a lot of talent um, worldwide, and they majority of them do it for a lot cheaper price than what you can find in the US anyways, and they can do it just as well or even better. So I put worldwide, and I don't touch any of this. I just click this, um, and then budget. So for me, what I like to do between the two, hourly rate and fixed price, um, even if you have like a fixed budget. So for example, if I was to create a website and my boss told me to hire somebody to create and build our website, and he said like your budget is $1,000, even though I have a budget of $1,000, I would not put fixed price and put $1,000. Like I would not do that, even though this is my budget pretty much. You always want to do hourly rate, um, because honestly, this is how you can get not only more people applying to your job, but also the best price. So I'm gonna tell you how I do it typically, but I'm gonna get to that later. When it comes to negotiations and things like that. But to get there, you need to put hourly, I think. It's a lot easier to bargain or negotiate your prices when it's an hourly rate than when it's a fixed price. Because if it's fixed price and you put 1,000, like how are you gonna negotiate that? You already put 1,000, you know. So hourly rate, again, if it's this depends on the industry and the niche that you're in or the service that you're looking for. For example, for me, I'm doing social media content creation, social media. I'm looking for a social media manager, but a social media manager might not cost the same as a website designer or a website developer. So the hourly rate, kind of, you have to figure it out yourself, and it depends on the service you're looking for and the niche you're in. But for me, social media manager, what I like to do is put 7 to 15. It's really low, but that's the budget that I'm looking for to make a profit. For me, even myself, I work for 15 an hour, so that's my max. Again, if you're working for $15 an hour, if I'm working for 15 an hour, and I'm hiring someone to work for $20 an hour, I'm working a business at a loss, so that makes no sense. So just, I guess, make sure it's under what you're selling, or what you're doing for your agency as a freelancer. But yeah, for me, 7 to 15. And then I click next. And then this part is really important. I see a lot of jobs where um, clients just, again, use ChatGPT and post something that's super generic. Um, and it doesn't help, because you're just gonna get a bunch of generic responses back, and you're not gonna know which freelancer is a good freelancer based off of their response, because every freelancer response is gonna be the same, because you just posted some sort of generic description from ChatGPT or whatever. Like, actually take the time to handwrite your description every time, and be specific with what you're looking for. So I'm going to fill this out really quick, and then I'll kind of show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's it. Took me less than 2 minutes to write up. Um, so I'm gonna just kind of go over it. I started up by saying I'm looking for a high quality social media manager, which kind of goes back to the title that I wrote. And then I kind of go into it. Someone to work with on a long term basis for my growing agency. So you want to be honest and upfront with the freelancer that you're working with, and tell them that you're doing an agency, and you're not, the you're not going to be working with, or I guess I'm not the client. You're not working with the client one on one. You're going to be part of a team. You're going to be part of an agency. You want to be honest with your team members and let them know. So put that in the second sentence. And then I kind of go into what I'm looking for. Need someone who specializes in video editing as well as some graphic design. You need to be able to speak, write, and create content in English fluently. And then this part, most importantly, I need someone who is available often and communicative. If you're not available often, or if you are bad with communication, that will disqualify you instantly. The reason why I'm so strict on this is because I say this all the time, but communication is like the most important thing, like in any business. I don't care if, even if you're like a bad, or not bad, but like even if you're just not that great at content creation or manage or whatever, if you're good at communication, you can learn. And I have people that, when we first started out, they were really bad in skill sets, with their skill sets, but because they were so available, like I was able to kind of teach them. They were willing to learn and open to, improve, and they, over time, they just got better, and they're still working with me from this day, or to this day. So I realized that communication is just the most important thing. If you find somebody that's, you know you look at their work or their profile, and they're super skilled, they're super qualified, but then you start messaging them, and then it takes them like 2 days to respond to a message, or like when they respond, they're like kind of rude. um, anything like that, not worth it. It's not gonna work out, especially with the client, because clients, I'm telling you, like, clients want things like this. So for their end, they want someone who's communicative as well. So you need to run a team that takes communication seriously and is available often. So I make sure to emphasize this. Make sure I want to work with, I don't care about skill sets that much, because honestly, there's so many people that are skilled in content creation, but there's not a lot of people that are available often and can communicate pretty much 24/7. That will be available 24/7. There's not a lot of people like that. So what I look for more than just a skill set is someone who's available and can communicate. So yeah, make sure you highlight that in any job listing. I don't care what you're looking for. Make sure you put that somewhere in your description. And then lastly, I say, please provide some samples with some of your best work. And then I put this part: the right candidate will be provided with as much work as they can possibly handle. And that's true. All of my best team members have as much work as they can possibly handle. I keep giving them clients until they tell me I can't handle any more clients, and then I say okay, and then I post a job and look for another freelancer or another team member to join my team. So that's pretty much how I do things. I don't attach any files, but yeah, just something simple. Literally took me a minute or two to write this from scratch, and it covers all the important parts. It's not 6 paragraphs long with a bunch of unnecessary information telling you to do random things. Type banana at the top of your search so I know you read this message. Like, nothing like that. Just keep it simple. Be honest. Tell them everything you need, everything you're looking for. Make sure you emphasize that communication is important. You want someone who can speak fluent English and can create content in English. And then I think that's it. So you click review job post, and then you just kind of go over it one more time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Once you're done, you click post this job, and then your job post is now live. Again, the great thing about this is, one, it's free. So you can literally post, or you can boost your job, but I don't do this. Again, it's free. So you can post as many jobs as you like. Let's say you post this, but for some reason you don't get as many freelancers that apply, or out of the freelancers that do apply, you don't like any of them, or they're not the right person for you. You can literally just post another job or the same job another day, and you'll get new freelancers or whatever. So for me, I pretty much get around 20 to 30, maybe even sometimes 40 or 50 freelancers that apply to my job like within the next 24 hours. So like, I can check on this tomorrow, the same time tomorrow, and I'll probably see around 20 to 30 proposals in my job posting, which is kind of great. So you can just kind of go over each different freelancer, each proposal, and kind of just make your own decisions on who you want to hire. And then once you find somebody, send them a message, and then interview them from there. That's pretty much it. You can kind of get a good sense of, you know, who's a good freelancer or who's not, who's respectful or who's not, just based off of the messages. So message them. Also, when you message them, see how quickly they reply to your message, and then ask them like, how available are you, what hours of the day do you work, and things like that. And look, just now, I literally just got a proposal. I posted this job 30 seconds ago, 20 seconds ago, and I just got a proposal from this person. But yeah, like looking at this, remember like a while ago, a video ago, I put like the NFT, like they had some weird skill sets that had nothing to do with the job. Like this is another one. Um, so yeah, that's something you wanna. That goes back into the freelancer part, but yeah. Anyways, invite freelancers. I don't do any of this. I don't send any invites unless you want to. I've never done this. I don't think I've ever needed to, simply because, like, again, it's so easy to get 20 to 30 proposals. Literally in about 24 hours, I'm going to get around 30 proposals on this job. So I don't think you need to invite freelancers unless there's a certain freelancer that I guess you know, or you look through these profiles and you like their profile or whatever. You can invite them to their job, to invite them to your job, but I don't use it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty simple, pretty powerful tool. Um, like some of the best workers in the world at what they do, some of the best talent you can find in the world, just on this platform, and all you have to do is post a job. Takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Already got my second proposal. But anyways, even if you don't have your own agency, there's Upwork. The client account for Upwork is so great because you can find talent for pretty much anything that you're looking for. So yeah, this is pretty much what I do to find team members or freelancers or contractors for my agency, and hopefully I was able to help some people. Okay, so while I was editing, I realized that I forgot to talk about the negotiations part. You always want to make sure that you try and negotiate with the freelancer. Don't be super cheap, again, because you might miss out on a potential really good worker. But just be honest and upfront. Say you're running an agency, so you do have a certain budget that you have to stay within. I've had freelancers who, in the beginning, the conversation was going really well, and then when we got to the point of the prices, the budget, they, for example, they gave me a price of like $800, and then I said, like, my budget at the time was like $200, 150, around there. So as soon as he said 800, I was just like, I wasn't even trying to negotiate or anything like that. I didn't even think that that was a thing, because again, I was kind of new to this whole sales thing. But as soon as he said 800, like, I typed in our messages, oh, that's like nowhere near within the budget that I can pay you with. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry I wasted your time. Have a nice day. I sent a message, something like that. And then the person literally responded, in a couple minutes, saying, what is your budget? And then I said, look, like, I don't want to waste your time. If I'm being honest, it's just my budget is nowhere near what your proposed rate was. And he said, like, we'll see if I can work with you. What is it? And then I said, it's 150, maybe 200 a month, or yeah, maybe $200. And then he said, yeah, sure, I could do it for 200. So literally just like that, he went from 800 to 200, just because, like, I just told him my budget at the time. So that made me realize that you can always negotiate, and oh yeah, just always negotiate with these freelancers. But I would like to say tread carefully, because there was also a time, like, don't just give, if a freelancer gives you a good price, don't just like cut that down. Like, if your budget is $800, don't just say $200 for no reason. Um, because I've had situations, again, where this happened, and then so I took that and said, oh, I can negotiate with these prices, what the prices that I first get isn't the actual price that they're willing to go down to. So I took that information and then I went to my next hiree, and then they gave me a price. They were a really good freelancer. Checked out their profile, everything was great. Our conversation was great. We get to prices. They said like $300 or some number. I forgot. My budget was $300, so it was perfect. But I said I can kind of get him for less. Um, and like again, this was all through just normal talking. I said, "What's your best price?" He said like 350, and then I said, do you think you could do anything for any under? And he said, "No, it's this is how much I work for." And then I said like, if you give me the lowest possible price, I can give you as much work as you can possibly handle. Um, I can do this for you, that for you, whatever. And he said 300, that's the lowest I could possibly do. And then I try to go a step further and then try to do that thing that I did with the other guy and say, look, it's just your budget is just not within what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who could do 150. Sorry, thank you for your time. So I thought he was just gonna, respond back and go, oh, look, I could do 200 maybe for you, or I could do that 150 for you. That's what I thought. But since then, he stopped responding to me. Um, I tried to send a follow up message, completely ignored. I guess I was blocked or something. But yeah, I just lost a freelancer that way. So you can always negotiate, but make sure you tread carefully. Be honest with your budgets, and just tell the freelancers it's best to just don't be cheap. It's best to just find a really good freelancer and then pay them well, because the better you pay them, the more likely they are to stick with you long term, and that's the most important thing. A freelancer who just does work right, is communicative, doesn't give you trouble, works with you long term. You know that he's not just gonna leave you out of nowhere because you're paying him well. So don't be cheap, but remember that you can always negotiate your prices. That's something that I learned.